As somebody who is deeply passionate about learning Apple Motion and teaching Apple Motion, it can be pretty hard to watch Motion not get a whole lot of feature updates. But in version 6.3, we actually got some really great new features as well as some really incredible quality of life improvements. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything that's new inside of Motion 6.3, how to get the most out of it, and then at the end, I'm going to read off a whole bunch of bug fixes that may have been plaguing your workflow if you use Motion on a regular basis. So the first improvement in this update might seem like a minor thing, but if you are like myself and use Motion a lot, this is going to save you countless hours of waiting. Motion finally boots quickly, even if you have hundreds of third-party plugins installed. I'm not even joking, sometimes Motion would take 2 or 3 entire minutes to boot up every single time I opened up Motion. So finally, Motion opens much faster. Now the second change, I haven't even seen if it's documented anywhere, so I don't know if this is an official change, but in my using of this latest version of Motion, I've noticed a big difference when it comes to using the undo command. For those of you who are seasoned Apple Motion veterans, you might be aware of the fact that after working in a project for a long time, if you've used the undo command many times, there's a point where you can't undo anymore. It's like there was an internal number inside of Motion that said, okay, you get 1,000 undos. Once you go past that point, sorry, bro. I have worked in Motion projects for 4 or 5 hours straight, and I have not run into this issue. So I don't know if this has been officially patched, but it has made a huge difference in my workflow if it's a change that they have added. The third feature change is that you can officially import SVG graphics directly into Motion with zero quality loss. Previously, you would have to convert an SVG graphic into something usable by Apple Motion into a PDF or something along those lines. But now I can just go directly over into Finder and drop in an SVG graphic directly into my scene with no issues. And the great thing about SVG graphics, for those of you that don't know, they're vectorized graphics. And what that means is I can scale this up infinitely with zero quality loss. So let me go ahead and just zoom way in onto this B, and you'll notice that we have sharp edges all the way through, even though I have scaled this up to 4,680%. SVG graphics are incredibly powerful for creating motion graphics, so I'm really happy to see that it's made its way into Apple Motion. Another documented fix that's pretty hard to showcase is that there have been performance improvements across the entire app. While I can't really show that here on the screen super well, I will say that in working with this latest version of Motion, I have found that some particularly heavy projects seem to be a bit more responsive, and I have found some improvements in my export times. I don't know if that's just placebo effect or what, but that is nice to see. And the last documented feature is the ability to stagger layers. It's a really simple tool, but it does save a lot of time. I have this whole lineup of circles just moving up and down, and I want to offset them. Traditionally, I would just come in here and move these layers one at a time, dragging them over to get them offset in that way. You could also just simply select a layer and push plus, and then just type in a value of say like 30. Then we'd select the next one plus 40, so on and so forth throughout all of your project. But you can see just how much time this would take, especially if you have a lot of layers. Rather than going through that obnoxious process, let me go ahead and reset all of this. And now that that's reset, we'll just simply come up here to the Mark menu, and you'll see Distribute Layers. Pressing that will give me this brand new window. And in here, we have several different options. We can sequence layers, and you'll notice that this is all happening in real time down here on the timeline. We can offset layers, and then we can increase this in real time, again, down on the timeline, and you'll see how these layers are getting further and further apart from each other. You could also select to overlap layers, and so now we can adjust by how much. Maybe we want them to overlap by 40 frames, and you'll see that that overlap is taking place here on the timeline. At the bottom, we have the ability to change the layer order. So right now it's bottom to top, or we could select top to bottom, and you'll see how that flips the staggering of the layers. Once you're done, you just push distribute, and now those changes will be applied here on the timeline. So that was everything that was added to motion, but there's also been an enormous amount of bug fixes. I love bug fixes because I run into a lot of bugs in my life. The first bug fix is that it fixes an issue where 3D motion templates appeared flat in Final Cut Pro. This is something I actually ran into when I was trying to create a tutorial not that long ago about 3D carousels. Very excited to see that's fixed. They fixed a crash that could occur when adjusting object tracker regions. They also fixed a crash related to shape on-screen controls during playback. Plus, they fixed another crash that could occur when using the color selection control in the inspector. On top of that, they fixed an issue where changes made to keyframe timing for third-party FX plugs effects in the timeline were lost when the project was closed. I have run into that specific issue, so I am excited to see that's fixed. They fixed a regression where high-value keyframes were cropped at the top edge of the keyframe editor. They fixed an issue where saving a project in a vertical snapshot would offset the anchor point of a title background by 1 pixel each save. I actually saw this on MKBHD's The Studio channel. They mentioned this exact problem, so it is cool that they got that fixed. They fixed an issue where dragging to select vertices on a Bezier mask did not work. They fixed an issue where 3D text and particle emitters occasionally used the wrong textured media during playback. They also fixed an issue where some color correction filters rendered visibly brighter on macOS 26 than on previous releases. And lastly, they have additional stability and performance improvements. I love performance and I love stability, so that's a win for me. So while these updates aren't life-changing by any means, it is awesome to see that motion is getting some love. I have a feeling that might be partially due to the whole Creator Studio change. I am really excited to see what motion gets in the near future as they continue to make Creator Studio better and better. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn all things Apple Motion, Compressor, and of course Final Cut Pro, maybe consider subscribing and helping me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers. That would mean so much to me. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.